Quesadilla, a grilled cheese sandwich with a Mexican twist. Fireman's corn, a great way to grill corn on the cob. Burgers two ways, tailgate touchdowns every time. And pork calzones, stuffed with pepperoni and cheese. Bellissimo. Today we tackle the tailgate. I'm Stephen Raichlen, and from the beautiful Esplendor Resort in southern Arizona, it's time to grill. In my playbook, the real reason for football is tailgating. And no self-respecting tailgater would leave home without his grill. Whether your game is football or soccer, this show is designed to help you smoke the competition. Sometimes you discover a dish of such simplicity and yet of such ingenuity, something you'd never expect, that you just want to rush home and make it yourself. What do Italian panini, Colombian arepas, and Mexican quesadillas have in common? All three are grilled cheese sandwiches, and there's at least one you can really cook on the grill. The Mexican quesadilla is a snap to prepare and makes a great snack at a tailgate party. Here's how we make it on Primal Grill. Start with an oversized flour tortilla. This is a 12-inch tortilla. Now, sprinkle half with grated Jack or white cheddar cheese. I've said Jack or white cheddar, but in fact the cheese is limited only to your imagination. Next, sprinkle the cheese with diced tomato, and thinly sliced jalapeno chilies. Finely chopped cilantro. And finely chopped scallion greens. Fold the tortilla in half and brush the top with melted butter. And brush the other side with melted butter too. Next, let me show you the grill. Now, I've preheated this portable grill to high, and as always, we keep it hot, we keep it clean with a few strokes of a grill brush, and we keep it lubricated with a folded paper towel dipped in oil and drawn across the bars of the grate. Conscientious cleaning and oiling are really important when you make a dish like quesadillas because the tortillas are prone to stick to the grill. And it helps to have a wide spatula to help you turn your quesadillas. And thanks to your conscientious grilling and buttering, the quesadilla hasn't stuck. Once the quesadillas are grilled on the other side, transfer them to a baking sheet. I told you this was quick. This is a little guacamole to go with it. The recipe is on our website. And let's see how we did. Little guac, quesadilla. Nice. I really like the way the guacamole cools down that fiery jalapeno chili. So there you have it, a grilled cheese sandwich with a Mexican twist. It's a game time decision you won't regret. Husk off or husk on? It's one of the great debates in the world of barbecue. What's the best way to grill corn? The firemen in Lynchburg, Tennessee, soak the corn in a salt-sugar solution, then char the husk right off the ears. Here's how we do it at Primal Grill. Step number 1, cut the first 1.5 inches off the corn. This helps the corn absorb the liquid. Step number 2, make the salt-sugar solution. Now, actually, this is a sort of brine. It consists of equal parts salt and sugar. And you want to whisk these ingredients together until the crystals are dissolved. You know, as you travel the world's barbecue trail, you find grilled corn on every continent. In Mexico, they slather it with mayonnaise and sprinkle it with cheese and chili powder. In Cambodia, they baste it with coconut milk and sprinkle it with palm sugar. Okay, once the sugar and salt are dissolved, pour this mixture over the corn. Soaking time is about 4 to 8 hours. This is best done in the refrigerator. Now, let me show you the fire. Okay, so for the fire, all I did was light a couple of chimneys worth of charcoal. And then you want to sort of rake out the coals into a single layer. Now, take your corn and lay it directly on the embers. This is grilling at its most primal. Now this gets pretty hot, so it's a good idea to wear grill mitts. And you can see the importance of having long-handled tongs. All you need to do here is just give each ear of corn a quarter turn. The idea is you want to char the husk right off the ears of corn. Now, why do you do this? Well, first of all, the surface charring gives you this incredible smoke flavor. Second of all, it looks incredibly cool. Third of all, enables you to kind of reconnect with your inner caveman. What's happening here on a molecular level is actually that the burning corn husk is smoking the corn, and the fiery embers are caramelizing the plant sugars. It's an amazing way to grill corn. Another cool thing about this recipe are the sound effects. You can actually hear the corn kernels popping. Once the corn is charred on all sides, you can see it's a beautiful golden brown and the husk is mostly burned off. Simply transfer the corn to a platter, preferably a heat-proof platter. And you'll notice I'm kind of shaking each ear to knock off any live embers. How cool does this look? So to serve and eat these guys, caveman style again, with your fingers, what you do is you just want to sort of strip off the burnt husk and the corn silk. You don't need to get every last little bit off. Those little charred bits give you a smoke flavor. Then baste the corn with melted butter and season it with salt, pepper, freshly ground of course, and if you like a little kick, a sprinkle of cayenne pepper. This is amazing. You really get the smoke flavor. So the answer to the great debate, the best way to grill corn is to burn it. For me, a recipe is a starting point, a springboard for my creativity. I think it's much more important to master the technique than the exact list of ingredients. After all, the word recipe comes from the Latin recipe, take. Take a little of this, take a little of that. The important thing is really to learn how to put it together. The surveys are in, and the winner is burgers. That's what most Americans cook when they fire up the grill. Well, if your burgers look undercooked like this one, or overcooked like this one, listen up. I'm going to show you 2 flavor-packed cheeseburgers that come out great every time. Burger number 1, the butter cheeseburger. Start by adding garlic, parsley, and grated Parmesan cheese to butter that's softened to room temperature. Beat the ingredients together with a spoon to make your garlic herb cheese butter. I made a batch earlier and wrapped and chilled it in plastic wrap. Now you need your butter nice and cold so you can slice it into discs. Now take a burger patty, and what you want to do is sort of make a depression in the center. Just like this. Slice off a disc of garlic herb cheese butter and press it into the center. Then bring the burger meat around the butter to encapsulate it. Now here's the idea. You really need to cook a burger all the way through to make it safe. So by encasing a disc of butter inside, even if the burger is well done, when you bite into it, it will be incredibly juicy, just like a rare burger. Burger number 2. I call this the inside-out cheeseburger. It too gives you a burger that is extremely juicy and perfectly safe. So start with grated cheddar. The secret is to mix the cheddar directly into the burger meat. So here's the idea. You really need to cook burgers to 160 degrees. By putting the cheese in the meat, as the burgers cook, the cheese melts. Once again, you bite into an extraordinarily juicy burger. You may be wondering why you can eat a steak rare, but you have to cook burgers all the way through. Well, the reason is simple. In a steak, any bacteria that might be on the surface are killed when you grill the steak. In burgers, the meat is ground up, so the bacteria may be in the middle. Once the cheese is mixed in, simply pinch off about 6 ounces of meat, and with a light touch, form it into a burger. The only other thing you need to do is season the burgers right before grilling. So start with coarse salt, sprinkle the tops, and freshly ground black pepper. Don't forget to turn the burgers over and season the other side. Let's get the burgers on the grill. Now I've set up 3 charcoal grills. I cleaned the grill grates, and here's a cool way to oil the grill. Dip an onion in your vegetable oil. Now arrange the burgers on the grates. Those are our butter cheeseburgers. And here are our inside-out cheeseburgers. And whenever you handle raw ground beef, you always want to wash your hands in hot, soapy water. Let me get the buns. And a great burger always has buttered, toasted buns. Cooking time on these are real quick, so you want to pay attention. Meanwhile, let's take a look at our burgers. You can give each a quarter turn. And for burgers, I like to use a spatula for turning. Something you'll see guys do, and invariably they're guys, is press down on the burger with a spatula. That is a recipe for disaster. All you succeed in doing is squeezing out the flavorful juices. Handle the burgers with a light touch. Okay, and we'll check on our buns. And once the burgers are golden brown on one side, just turn them over. And check out our inside-out cheeseburgers. You can actually see the cheese melting out. And once the buns are toasted, pull them off as well. See, the idea here is when you bite into the perfect burger, you get the crunch of the bun, the crisp snap of the lettuce, the meaty chew of the burger. It's like all the textures you can imagine in a single bite. And here's how you put it together. So, lettuce leaves on half the buns, and you put the lettuce leaf under the burger to keep the juices from making the bun soggy. And then onion slices on the other bun, again on the bottom, to keep the buns from getting soggy. Now the burgers look done, but to play it safe, what you want to do is use your instant read meat thermometer. You're looking for 160 degrees. That's the safe temperature. And now the inside-out cheeseburgers. And look how the cheese has melted. Then tomato slices for the butter burgers, and sliced dill pickles on top of the cheeseburgers. Nice, great texture, great flavor. Butter burger, inside out cheeseburger. It's a Tailgate touchdown every time. In my archives, I have a photo of a painting that was done to portray our early ancestors, Homo erectus, at one of the first barbecues. And it shows these hairy guys hunched around a fire, ripping meat off the bones, lifting bones with meat up to their mouth and eating it. It's really so primal. And in a funny way, I think that's one of the reasons why people are so passionate about barbecue. You know, it takes us back to that very moment when we stopped being animals and we became man. The calzone, that pizza joint favorite, originated in Italy, but the idea of stuffing bread with cured meat seems to have sprung up around the world. Here's a calzone for people who love barbecue. You could think of it as the ultimate pork chop. Hold the bread. Step number 1, start with a double thick pork loin chop. Step number 2, using a utility knife and holding the chop flat with the palm of your hand, cut a deep pocket in the side, to but not through the back. The pocket should run the length and breadth. Step number 3, stuff the calzone with sliced pepperoni, smoked ham, provolone cheese, and a slice of dill pickle. Then take 2 toothpicks and insert them through the chop crosswise to close the pocket. Now brush the tops of the calzones with extra virgin olive oil. Then season each calzone with coarse sea salt and freshly ground black pepper. Press a fresh sage leaf on the top of each calzone. By the way, the word calzone means trousers or stockings. Then turn each calzone over and brush. Season with coarse salt and freshly ground black pepper. And finally, press a sage leaf. It's a lot easier than making a calzone out of pizza dough. Okay, let me show you the grill. Preheat your grill to high. The process is direct grilling. And as always, you want to clean the grill grate with a stiff wire brush and oil the bars of the grate with a folded paper towel dipped in oil, and drawn across the bars of the grate. Now let me get the calzones. Arrange the calzones on the grill grate, running diagonal to the bars of the grate. So cooking time is about 4 minutes per side. We'll give a quarter turn after 2 minutes to lay on our crosshatch of grill marks. And to speed up the cooking process, I'll simply close the grill. So how do you know when it's time to turn the calzones? Well, first of all, you can see the meat is starting to cook on the edges. So let's just go. Turn the calzone over. Yeah, baby. You can see the sage leaf is cooking right into the meat. Once again, be 2 minutes in this direction, 2 minutes in that direction, and then paradise. So how do you know when the calzones are done? Well, you can use the poke test. They feel firm to the touch. Or if you want to play it safe, use an instant read meat thermometer. What you want to do, insert it into the center of the calzone. You're looking for 160 degrees. That's medium. And we are there. And you can just close the grill. That will burn off the melted cheese. Oh yeah, you can see how juicy it is. Benissimo! That means sweet. I love the way the pepperoni and cheese flavors the pork. So there you have it, grilled quesadillas, Fireman's corn, burgers 2 ways, and pork chops calzone. Whatever team you're rooting for, Primal Grill makes you a winner. See you next time. Just like you were eating a rare hamburger. It accomplishes the same purpose. You may be wondering why it's safe to eat. You may be wondering why it's safe to eat a steak rare, but you have to. Okay, ready? Sweet.
Matt said it 2 seconds before you did.